It started like any other night. Justin Bieber lived on Instagram just vibing in the studio. Nothing unusual until the music kicked in. What should have been background noise suddenly became the main event. Fans froze. The songs playing weren't just random, they were raw, emotional, heartbreak heavy. And then it hit them. These weren't just any love songs. These were the same tracks longtime fans remembered from his days with Selena Gomez. People started asking why these songs? Why now? Especially when he's married. It didn't feel accidental. It felt intentional, and for Hailey, it felt like betrayal, because this wasn't just a public playlist, it was pulled straight from Justin's private phone, carefully saved. Secretly personal. And when Hailey found out, it didn't just hurt her. It cracked open everything they'd been trying to hold together. From the outside, it might have looked like nothing a live stream with a few moody songs in the background. But for Hailey, it was a punch to the gut. Sources close to the situation say she was blindsided. And not just by the live, by what the songs represented. Because once she learned that playlist wasn't just randomly shuffled, that it came from a folder on Justin's phone, one he built and saved, it changed everything. That list didn't sound like someone casually revisiting old tracks. It sounded like someone remembering, feeling, missing. And to make things worse, it wasn't happening in isolation. The signs had already been there, Justin and Hailey showing up to events separately, walking in and out through different doors, barely looking at each other in public. People had been whispering about tension for months, but this made the whispers louder. It added fuel to a fire that had been quietly burning behind the scenes for far too long. To really understand why this moment shattered so much, you have to rewind back to the beginning. Back to when Justin and Selena weren't just two famous names, they were the love story of an entire generation. Their relationship began in 2010 and quickly became something fans didn't just follow, they lived it. Every photo, every breakup, every reconciliation sparked headlines, hashtags, and heartbreak. It was never just about them, it was about what they represented. Young love, first love, real love. They were raw, emotional, messy, and magnetic. And Justin never pretended that it didn't matter. He gave interviews calling Selena the love that changed him. Said she taught him what it meant to truly feel. That kind of emotional blueprint doesn't disappear just time passes. It lingers in memories, in behaviors, and sometimes ... in playlist ... So when Hailey sees those songs, it's not just nostalgia, it's a reminder. A reflection of a history that feels too big to erase. And it's becoming harder and harder for her to pretend she's not living in its shadow. Now let's talk about Hailey, known to the world today as Hailey Bieber. But before the fame, before the wedding, she was Hailey Baldwin, daughter of actor Stephen Baldwin. Her introduction to Justin wasn't some Hollywood twist of fate. It was calculated, strategic, and it started way back in 2009. She was just 13 when her father brought her backstage at the Today Show to meet Justin. To most, it looked like a sweet fan moment. But over time, that moment started to look more like a beginning as she got older. Fans noticed patterns, uncanny coincidences that didn't seem so accidental. She booked hotel rooms at the same places Justin stayed. She showed up at restaurants he loved. She even reportedly messaged fan pages to find out where he might be. Hailey wasn't just watching from afar, she was positioning herself in his orbit. By 2014, thanks to her tight bond with Kendall and Kylie Jenner, who were already part of Justin's world, Hailey became more than just a fan. She became part of his inner circle. But with that closeness came comparisons. Fans couldn't help but notice how Hailey's style, posts, and even tattoos seemed eerily similar to Selena's. And it didn't stop there. One moment, in particular, sent fans into a frenzy. In 2015, Selena Gomez got a tiny G tattoo behind her ear, a deeply personal tribute to her little sister, Gracie. Less than 2 weeks later, Hailey revealed a strikingly similar tattoo in the exact same spot. She claimed it was for a child named Georgia, but the timing? It was too close, too coincidental, and the internet noticed. That wasn't the only moment that raised eyebrows. Fast forward to 2019, when Hailey got a delicate J tattoo on her ring finger, a sweet nod to Justin. But again, fans remembered how back in 2012, Justin had given Selena a ring for that very same finger. To the outside world, it started to look less like Hailey was building her own story with Justin and more like she was unintentionally stepping into Selena's footsteps. From jewelry to fashion choices, from captions to candid moments, it all started to feel familiar. Like déjà vu wrapped in luxury branding. Then came the most criticized move yet, Hailey's YouTube cooking show, What's in My Kitchen? The second it aired, social media lit up with accusations. People claimed it was a near-carbon copy of Selena's Selena Plus Chef, which had already been running for 2 years. From the cozy kitchen setup to the friendly voiceovers from loved ones, it felt like a replica, not a reinvention. And for Hailey, who's constantly battling online hate and fan scrutiny, this only made things harder. But the bigger issue isn't just public perception, it's emotional reality. For many fans, it's not just that Hailey is compared to Selena. It's that she seems stuck in a shadow cast by a love story that was never hers to begin with. And no matter how hard she tries to build something unique, the echoes of the past keep getting louder. Because of all this, many fans believe that Hailey isn't just trying to build a future with Justin, she's been trying to rewrite a role already defined by Selena. Whether that's intentional or not, the emotional impact is undeniable. Selena Gomez may no longer be in Justin's life physically, but her presence still lingers, woven into his lyrics, etched into his interviews, and echoed in the way fans remember them. She's not just an ex, she's a part of his legacy, and Justin has never truly hidden that. In past interviews, he's described his relationship with Selena as overwhelming and consuming, something that changed him completely. He's called it the kind of love that blocked everything else out. Those words weren't spoken casually. They were confessions, emotional timestamps that carved Selena into the foundation of who Justin became. So now, picture Hailey, married to someone who once said another woman was his everything, finding a playlist on her husband's phone that replays all the songs tied to that very love story. Songs full of memories she was never a part of. That doesn't feel like a coincidence. It feels like proof of a silent competition she never signed up for but has been forced to fight since day one. To Hailey, those tracks weren't just music, they were ghosts. Quiet reminders that no matter how hard she tries, there's a part of Justin that might still be stuck in a love that never truly ended. And that realization? That stings. Not because she expects the past to disappear, but because she hoped deep down that it wouldn't be something she'd always be measured against. Sources close to the couple say Hailey didn't just cry, she crumbled. The moment she saw that playlist, something in her shifted. This wasn't just disappointment, it felt like betrayal. After all the years she'd spent trying to be a steady presence in Justin's life through rehab, public meltdowns, religious retreats, and redemption arcs, she thought she had earned more than just being the rebound to a memory. What hurt her most wasn't the fact that the songs existed. It was that they had been tucked away quietly, kept private, curated, protected. It felt intentional. And when she confronted Justin about it, she wasn't asking about music. She was asking whether her love had ever been enough to replace what came before. The argument that followed wasn't a typical fight. It was the kind of raw, painful confrontation that breaks years of silence wide open. Hailey reportedly asked questions she had buried for too long. Have you really let go of Selena? Did you ever? Have I been living in the shadow of someone who still owns part of your heart? And maybe the worst of it, am I just your second choice? Justin, blindsided and defensive, brushed it off. He insisted it was nostalgia, not longing. But the songs didn't mean anything. But to Hailey, that excuse rang hollow. Because when a man keeps souvenirs from another love tucked away, it's not just about remembering. It's about choosing to hold on. The truth is, Hailey has always been battling a ghost. And that playlist? It made that ghost feel real again. Tangible, unavoidable, and for the first time, she had to face the possibility that no matter how much she's tried to move forward with Justin, part of him may have never left the past. From the outside, the playlist might have seemed like a harmless collection of old songs. But for Hailey, it was something far more damaging, proof that she may have never truly escaped the shadow of Selena Gomez. It wasn't just a symbol of unresolved feelings. It was a mirror reflecting years of emotional displacement. Because in that moment, every quiet doubt she'd suppressed came roaring back louder than ever. And it wasn't just this one moment. For years, Hailey has been fighting an uphill battle, not just to be seen as Justin's wife, but to be respected as her own woman. Yet time and time again, she finds herself compared by fans, by the media, even by Justin's own actions to someone he once loved before her. Every tattoo she gets, every photo she posts, every career move she makes, there's a trail of comments comparing her to Selena. And while she smiles through it all, those comparisons quietly chip away at her confidence. When your identity is constantly tied to someone else's legacy, it doesn't just affect your public image, it begins to erode your private sense of worth. Insiders say Hailey has spent years brushing it off, telling herself the past is the past. But this playlist shattered that illusion. Because when she found those songs, it wasn't just about Selena anymore, it was about Justin. About where his heart truly lives. And about whether she's been trying to build a future with a man who still emotionally lives in a love that no longer exists. The confrontation between them was more than personal, it was historic. A release of years of tension that had never been spoken aloud. Sources say Hailey didn't yell. She didn't scream. She simply broke down and asked the most painful question of all. When you look at me, do you really see me? Or do you still see her? And for Justin, that question may have hit harder than any lyric in those songs. Justin reportedly stood frozen for a moment. Not because he didn't care, but because he didn't know how to answer without making things worse. He's always been someone who speaks through music, not confrontation. But this wasn't a song he could edit later. This was real. Hailey needed more than reassurances or vague apologies. She needed clarity, something she's been craving since the day their relationship began in Selena's long shadow, and that's the tragic irony here. Justin may have never meant to hurt her. To him, that playlist was nothing more than a nostalgic archive, a time capsule of who he used to be. Maybe it brought comfort. Maybe it reminded him of where he started, how far he'd come, and what kind of love once changed him forever. But Hailey didn't just hear music. She heard ghosts. She saw every fan theory come to life. She felt every headline that said she was second best suddenly echo louder than ever before. Worse yet, this moment put their entire relationship under a microscope. People close to them began to notice the emotional toll. Friends say Hailey seemed more withdrawn after the incident, quieter, more guarded in her social media posts, her public appearances. And Justin, for his part, looked conflicted, not distant, but distracted, like he was wrestling with emotions he thought he had already buried. They tried to move forward, to act like everything was fine, but the cracks had already formed. And the internet noticed. Fans began picking apart every photo, every clip, every interaction. Were they holding hands? Did they look happy? Was there tension in their body language? With a couple as public and polarizing as Justin and Hailey, nothing stays private for long. And once people caught wind of the playlist drama, it became more than just a personal fight. It became a conversation about emotional loyalty, unresolved love, and whether Justin Bieber ever truly closed the door on his past or if Hailey was always just living in its shadow. And as the dust settled, one uncomfortable truth remained: this wasn't just about a playlist. It was about a slow unraveling of trust. The kind that happens when two people realize they may not be on the same page emotionally, even if they're sharing the same life. For Hailey, this wasn't the first time she questioned her place in Justin's heart, but this time the doubt felt louder. It had a soundtrack, and the lyrics didn't sound like they were written for her. Behind the scenes, insiders revealed that the tension didn't just fade with time. It lingered in the small silences between them, in the quiet moments that used to feel safe, but now felt fragile. Hailey began to reevaluate everything, not because she stopped loving him, but because she started wondering if love alone was enough. When the foundation of a relationship is built on hope rather than full honesty, it doesn't take much to shake it. And this incident was more than enough. Publicly, they kept up appearances. Photo shoots, Instagram stories, red carpet, smiles. But fans could sense the shift. Hailey's captions felt more guarded. Justin's eyes looked distant in paparazzi shots. And all the while, rumors continued to swirl, some saying they were taking space, others hinting at couples therapy or even a quiet separation. Nothing was confirmed, but the emotional distance was palpable, and then came the haunting realization. Hailey wasn't just fighting to be seen in the eyes of fans. She was fighting to be fully seen by the man she married. Every step she took to build a life together, every business decision, every post, Every time she tried to be supportive was now shadowed by a single question. Was she truly his first choice? Or just the best fit for the life he wanted after Selena? That kind of question doesn't fade easily. It follows you, especially when the world keeps replaying the love story that came before you. And for Hailey, that replay button never seems to turn off. What made this moment even more emotionally loaded was the weight of history. Justin and Hailey didn't fall in love in a vacuum. They fell into each other's arms with the whole world watching. Already comparing, already choosing sides. From the day their engagement was announced, the narrative wasn't just Justin found love again. It was Justin moved on from Selena too fast. That kind of framing becomes poison in a relationship. It lingers in every argument, every headline, every well-meaning comment that begins with, "But what about?" And Hailey, for all her composure and effort, has lived under that shadow every single day. She's had to be more than a wife, she's had to be a public defense, a brand builder, and a constant emotional shield. Every time Selena's name trended, Hailey's face trended with it. Every time Justin was seen getting emotional about a song or a memory, the internet rushed to connect it back to Selena. And no matter how strong Hailey tried to be, the message was clear: she was always being measured against a ghost of a relationship that refused to die. This is the kind of pressure that doesn't just strain a marriage, it chips away at identity. Hailey wasn't just questioning Justin's feelings, she was starting to question her own sense of self. Was she loved for who she really was? Or was she always just filling a space someone else left behind? Even worse, the people around them were beginning to notice too. Sources close to the couple say that friends and family had started expressing concern. Not because they didn't believe in Hailey and Justin's love, but because they could feel the disconnect. There were reports of tension during family get-togethers, awkward silences in public appearances, and subtle shifts in how often the couple was even spotted together. It was clear this wasn't just a rough patch. It was something deeper, something that required real answers. And for Hailey, the most painful part might be that she still wasn't sure if Justin even realized how much it was all affecting her.